You're about to have a front row seat inside Operation Ironside as it unfolded. We've been given exclusive pictures of the sting. For the man behind the operation, AFP Assistant Commissioner Nigel Ryan, today was years in the making. He sat down with our crime editor, Simon Boda.
Operation Ironside in full flight. Dramatic raids. Most under the cover of darkness. Forced entries. Scaling high-rise apartments. Cutting through glass doors. The amazing footage provided exclusively to A Current Affair. It was what police call the resolution phase of a 3-year operation. Thanks, Assistant Commissioner, for taking this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon.
Assistant Commissioner, can you tell me how big has this operation been?
This has been the biggest investigation and operation that the AFP's run in its 40-year history. We've had almost 4,500 law enforcement officials across the country working on this, and globally there's been about 9,000 police working on this job. For every 20 kilos of meth that you guys are stopping off the streets, you're saving a life.
Australian Federal Police Assistant Commissioner Nigel Ryan headed up the sting that tricked criminals around the world to use an app they thought allowed them to send secret messages.
This is probably one of the most technically difficult investigations that we've ever tried to accomplish.
It took a computer whiz to come up with the complex scheme. I'm told its origins happened over a few beers, am I right?
That's correct. Look, the origin of this goes back to a couple of people in the AFP and a couple of people in the FBI.
Ironically, it was an alleged Mr. Big, Aussie fugitive Hakan Ayik, hiding out in Turkey, who helped police.
He was one of the principal distributors of these devices, and realistically he's over there living the high life, making a whole heap of money from selling drugs into our country, and he has unwittingly put handcuffs on all of his mates.
How would he be feeling right now?
I would suggest probably a bit nervous.
Should he come home and maybe hand himself in?
I would really encourage him to go to the embassy or turn himself in so that he can be dealt with properly.
The Anom app was installed on specially modified Google Pixel phones, which gave users an encrypted platform to secretly operate on the dark web. It was accessed by inputting a code into the phone's calculator. Users would then pay a subscription to use the service.
Gave us the capability to access, decrypt and read real-time messages that were involved in organised crime. So some smart people in the AFP actually created this app that enabled us to do that decryption and to cipher those messages off.
Did you realise how big it could get?
Globally, we've ended up with about 12,500 devices that have been active. Domestically, there are about 1,100 devices that have been active in Australia, which we've been monitoring. It really did get quite large.
Were you surprised by how brazen the communications were? Was there any effort to disguise what they were talking about, or just take me through that?
No, we're actually very surprised at how implicitly they trusted the platform and the actual application. Usually in the criminal underworld, they code everything and they're very careful about who they talk to and how they say things. This was a no holds barred affair. They spoke very explicitly about what they were doing, to the point where we had no doubts about what was going on. 12 months ago, we were monitoring 40,000 messages in a 2-week period. Now we're actually intercepting 2.7 million in a fortnight. So it's a very large number, and globally we're looking at more than 25 million messages that have been communicated purely for organised crime.
Operation Ironside was so significant, the Prime Minister this morning stood side by side with the AFP and the FBI to reveal its existence.
This is a watershed moment in Australian law enforcement history.
Commissioner, if it was so effective, why reveal its existence now? Why not let it run?
Yeah, part of it has to do with legal authorities and also just the scale and the speed of the organised crime and the threats to life and the harm that was being done. It was an operational decision made jointly with all the international partners.
The threats we face are too diverse and too complex for any one organisation to tackle alone.
In effect, you and the FBI created a telco company, didn't you? A small telco company.
That's correct, yes.
And they fell for it hook, line and sinker.
Yeah, we really got them on this one.
There's no doubt Ironside has been a major blow to international organised crime. 3.7 tonnes of drugs has been seized, as well as almost $45 million in cash. In Australia alone, 21 separate murder plots were interrupted and prevented.
From what we understood and how we understood the messages that were coming across our platform, these were planned attacks to actually assassinate or kill people due to mostly drug rivalries.
Crime syndicates around the world have taken a hit. What would be your message now? They're going to have to come up with other methods, aren't they?
They will. Look, and funnily enough, before I just came in here for this interview, we had a person just walk into the station and say, "You've got me cold, I'm handing myself in." So these people know what they've said on these devices, they know what they've done, and we know what they've said and done as well. So if we haven't come and knocked on your door yesterday or today, we're coming for you.
Genius. The arrests here in Australia are just the beginning. As the rest of the world wakes up tonight, we'll see how far this operation has gone towards dismantling organised crime on a global scale.